I'm like slightly upset. My heart is pumping out my chest. I am scared. I'm watching all these other people go. Hi, I'm Taya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm excited and nervous and anxious and feeling all the feels, but growth comes from being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So here we are. If you didn't know, I'm a travel content creator specializing in affordable travel and finding things for you to do while you're out traveling in your dream destinations. So for my first episode, I thought it would be sensible to do a getting to know me to introduce myself to YouTube. So I asked my Instagram community to send me some questions. They've sent social media related questions, personal questions, and of course travel related questions. So let's get into it. Social media questions. What platform do you use the most? Instagram, hands down. I feel like I'm the most consistent on Instagram, and I just love the travel community on there. I need to get into TikTok and now YouTube a bit more. What is your favorite or secret Instagram hack? I'd say for me, engagement. It may sound like duh, but I used to blame the algorithm when my posts weren't doing well, and then I realized that the more I engage and interact with my community and other accounts similar to mine, the more IG shows me love. So make sure you're always engaging. I like to just spend like 30 minutes a day interacting with my followers, different accounts, new accounts, all the good stuff. Personal questions. They're not too personal, so that's good. What do you do for work? I teach English as a second language. What is a goal that you have for 2024? This year, I know there's going to be a lot of big changes happening in my life. So one goal that I have for myself is to stay consistent and push myself when making those big changes, because change can be scary. So I just want to stay consistent and continue to grow in all aspects of my life so that it can all come together. What is your favorite movie? This is like always one of the hardest questions for anyone. I feel like I can never answer it. The last time I was able to answer this question, I was in like high school. Comedies are my favorite genre, so I love anything comedy. I love to laugh. If I had to pick a favorite movie of 2023, I would say the movie Strays. That was just so funny because I love dogs, and then it was like a raunchy comedy about dogs. If you haven't seen it and you love comedies and you love dogs, definitely have to watch. Time for the travel question. What is your favorite trip of 2023? I'd say my favorite trip, well, it's a tie. First, my favorite trip was like my birthday trip. I was able to go to London and Birmingham, England, where my family and I are from. So I got to spend a lot of time with family who I haven't seen since 2019 because of COVID. And then my older brother and I actually went to Amsterdam. So it was fun spending time with family and exploring London and all that. My other favorite trip of 2023 was Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica in December, and it had to have been my favorite because we did like a big road trip through a lot of different parts of Costa Rica and a lot of unique and fun activities. So that was a lot of fun. Any more Europe destinations? Of course. I love Europe, and I feel like I haven't explored it as of yet as much as I'd like to, but I definitely want to hit up Iceland and Switzerland and Belgium, and I definitely want to go to the Netherlands again because they're all so magical. What was your first country that you visited? For me, mine was Canada. I went to Toronto. when I was in college, and I loved it. I actually wanted to move there afterwards, but of course that didn't happen. But in regards to like my first country I went to before I started rapidly traveling, it was Mexico, and I love Mexico so much. Favorite city that you've visited? As always, I can't pick just one because there's so many amazing places. I'd say my favorite city, two cities, my favorite cities that I visited would be London and San Juan in Puerto Rico. I loved London because I feel like it's home in a way, but also it's not. So I felt like a tourist, but I knew of like a lot of things to look for that locals would typically know of. So I feel like it made my experience extra special. And San Juan because it was just amazing. Like, it was beautiful. I love the culture. I love how much like Puerto Ricans represent their flag, and it was just amazing. I love it. Like, while I was over there, we were looking at the cost of living and apartments in the area, all that, because it's technically in the US, but it doesn't feel like it's in the US. I loved it. Favorite winter travel destination so far? Hands down, Colorado. I love me some Colorado to the point where I've been there 3 times in the past 3 years. And every single time I have absolutely loved it. Definitely recommend Colorado if you want to go to a nice wintry place without leaving the US. And flights there are super cheap. Super cheap. What is your next trip? I will be going to Memphis in a few weeks to see my best friend, and it's also super special because I lived in Memphis for 2 years, so it's always nice to go back and feel all the nostalgic feels. It has such a special place in my heart. What was your favorite place that you've visited? This is one of the questions I hate getting asked because it's so hard to choose just one. However, for the sake of the video, I will say Mexico City. Went to Mexico City in 2021 or 2022. One of those. I think 2021. But for a week, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the culture, the food, the people, the activities, the things you can do there. It was so amazing, and I would definitely go back in a heartbeat. Least favorite place you've been to so far? Please don't try to come for me, but Dallas, Texas. It was fun, but I went in August, and in August the temperature was like on average 105 degrees or higher in Fahrenheit. So like, it was not fun to be outside. It was extremely hot for no reason, and they have an unnecessarily large amount of tolls. I thought the biggest place with tolls in the US was Florida, but Dallas, I was like, why are there so many tolls to get around this huge city? It just added up and made the trip a lot more expensive than it even needed to be. But apart from that, I really liked it. What was your favorite part about Rome? So those of you that don't know, I went to Rome in November of 2023, which is the shoulder season. So I had an amazing time. It was very affordable. There wasn't that many people there. It was very easy to walk around and do the things that I wanted to do without worrying about crowds. My favorite part of Rome, of course, was the food. The food was amazing. I loved it. I also loved the gelato, of course. I'm an ice cream girl, so I felt like every day while I was there, I had to either eat pizza or pasta and then have some gelato for dessert. I feel like if you go to Rome and don't get gelato, then did you even really go to Rome? I also loved the cooking class that I did over there, where I learned how to make tiramisu and pasta from scratch. That was so much fun. A literal highlight of the trip. And I'll probably do a vlog post on that because it was just such a great experience and I have so much footage from it. I also loved when I went to the Coliseum because I had been learning about and interested in the Coliseum since I was a little girl. And so it was nice to just see it in person and learn more about the history of it, things that I didn't even know about. And so that was a very nice, like, bucket list experience I got to fulfill. Speaking of bucket lists, the next question is, what is on your travel bucket list this year? Iceland. Hands down. There's so many places I want to go to, and I'm sure there's a lot of places this year that I'll end up going to that I didn't even know I wanted to go to. But Iceland is definitely on my list. Last year, I've been seeing like so many amazing and incredible things there and things to do. And in 2024, it's like one of the best times to go because of the Northern Lights. And I definitely want to see the Northern Lights. Like, it'll just be amazing. All the landforms and wildlife they have over there on top of the Northern Lights. Last question. Describe a moment when you tried something out of your comfort zone while traveling. Okay, so I have two. And these two are very memorable because for both of these experiences, my heart was literally like beating out of my chest. Like, you know, when you can actually feel it thumping and count how many thumps. It was just intense. The first time was ziplining in, when was this? 2023. In April of 2023, we went to Cancun, Mexico. And there's this big park, like an adult, kids go, but it's like an adult theme park as well, with like ziplining, ATVs, cave expeditions, all the fun water activities. It was a fun day. Like, I love it. Definitely recommend. I'll talk about it one day. But I knew that I would be ziplining. And on the way to the park, you can see the zip lines like off in the distance. So I was a little nervous. It was my first time. I was like, let's do some of the other activities before we zipline, so like my adrenaline could be up and pumping. I'm thinking that's the plan. We get there, and then for some strange odd reason, we head to ziplining first. So I'm like slightly upset. My heart is pumping out my chest. I am scared. I'm watching all these other people putting the harness on me. I'm still scared. And like, as we're waiting in line to go on the zip line, my heart is like bumping even harder. I'm like, I don't want to do this, but you know, like, why not do it? I was just scared. I knew I was freaking myself out. I went to the top and they put me on, very nice and stuff. And then like, as I went and like, as soon as I like went off of the platform, I was just grinning from ear to ear because it's so much fun and it's such a great experience. I love ziplining. Any time I'll go to a place that has it, that makes it seem worth, I'll definitely try it out. But I was petrified at first. Petrified. But it ended up paying off in the end. The second time was in Costa Rica. We went horseback riding. And when I say it now, it sounds so silly, but I did not want to get on a horse. I was just scared that the horse would like throw me off or run really fast when I didn't want him to, or kick me or stomp on me as he, like, all the bad things were in my head. And I was like, I can do it, yeah, no problem. But then as the day is going on, I'm getting even more scared, to where I'm on YouTube looking at videos on how to ride a horse, tips and tricks on horseback riding, looking at the reviews of the place and like looking for everyone who said it was their first time to see how they felt. Even while we were there, petrified. Like, I was so scared to start. We got there, my heart is still beating, like super fast, like thumping. And then we had to wait for everyone else to come so that we could all start together at the same time. So everyone else came, Then we walked down to the ranch where the horses were, and I was just like scared, like standing in the back to where they wouldn't see me until like everyone else got on their horse, which is exactly what happened. Like I was the last person to get on my horse. And I was scared that I'd get it like a really tall horse, because I feel like that's even more higher from the ground for me to fall off. So I was super scared, but luckily they brought me a beautiful brown boy named Romeo. He was so smart, such a good boy. And as soon as I told the instructor, like, I was nervous, so I wanted to be near the back. And so as soon as I got on the horse, I was like, okay, it's not that bad. I was still a little nervous, but I was like, it's not bad. And then when he started walking, it was okay. I was singing to him to make sure he stayed calm and giving him pettings and lovings. But it was a great time. It was like my overall favorite experience of that area in Costa Rica that we were in. So it's definitely worth it. I think like when you step out of your comfort zone and end up doing something and loving it, I feel like those are just reminders as to why you should step out of your comfort zone and try something new. So it was nice to have that experience, and I'd definitely do it again. Well, that is all the questions that I have. It was nice to talk to you, even though I was super nervous. I hope this was entertaining and you learned something about me. If we have anything in common, let me know. If you want to hear more about any of the destinations or travels that I mentioned, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.